Alright, today I'm going to be feeding cattle this morning. Yes, that is what's left of our wheat seed that's got to go on the ground today. But the other day I made that video of me getting them calves out, and I think a lot of people that don't normally watch me all the time thought that that was our actual working barn, because I got asked about a squeeze chute, which we do have. I'll show that in a minute. We don't have it in the barn. It's a portable chute that we use to go around our other farms. But I have showed this barn in the past. It's been a while. This is our back lot to where we drive the cattle into work. But right now we got a bunch of calves back here filled up that we're straightening out and feeding. And in here we have 4 stalls on this side with waters, and we got concrete drinkers inside in there, and there's a lane down the back side. We're going to be replacing that back wall with steel panels hopefully soon, or steel gates, because it's rotted out. It needs replacing. You got 4 pens here, and up here is the working area where we run the cattle up. This is where we load out. Now, used to, as y'all might be able to tell up there on top, we used to have straight trucks to haul cattle out, and there was a loading ramp here on this side, and on this side was where you loaded out goosenecks. But when we got rid of all the straight trucks back in the 90s, we cut all that out and just made it to where it was just for goosenecks. So we back our gooseneck trailers into there, and then we've got this gate that pulls around, and then we got another gate that pulls up behind them. So once you get them in there, and this is our chute here. We've had this barn since the 80s, and when we built this barn in the 80s, it was top of the line around here. This gate we put in is just a cut gate. We can pull it up behind them as we're running them up into here, or we can hook that gate up and make like a square direct line if we're just running straight up from the back into the back of the truck. This is also another pull around gate that closes this off, or you can fix it from here to here where they'll go straight down and not turn. This is the outer lot here. It's got more calves in it. There's another pasture down here that's sectioned off, a little small pasture lot. It's full of calves too. If you look way over yonder, there's another big pasture over yonder, and there's the large pasture on this side next to the church. But in here, you come up here when we're working our cattle, and this is our main chute that we use here at home. And like I said, it's been this way since the 80s, as long as I can remember. You open this gate, and this is where you drive them into. You drive them back down in this chute, and they come up through here, and this is a little swing door we put in, so that way once they get up in there, it's kind of like a drop gate on a squeeze chute, or just a regular chute, to where they can't back up. And it works really good, surprisingly. You'd think it wouldn't, but it does. And that's how we work cattle most of the time out here at this barn. And this is our main barn that we have. It's not the biggest barn in the world, but it gets the job done. Now, it does have another whole wing to it on the other side. I'll show y'all it here in a minute. The calves are hungry. I gotta feed them. But this barn here, we also store horse hay in. So that's some of my horse hay round rolls. There's my custom grazer salt that I showed the other day in a video. There's feed in this sack. That is some calcium minerals that's old. We need to get rid of that stuff. And there's just pallets and a bunch of other crap stacked in there. That used to be the old corn crib area. We'd get a load of corn and we'd dump it in here, and it had a solid floor, wood floor underneath it, and we'd fill it full of corn for making feed. This was the other feed room we had originally, and this is where we kept pallets of different things we would mix into our feed. We quit making feed probably 10 years ago, 10, 12 years ago. My dad used to make feed all the time in here with square bales. He takes square bale hay, corn, and whatever else we had to mix in with it, and we'd grind feed out of an old feed grinder. I'd actually like to have another one, but to where we had a barn made with concrete chutes where we get a tractor trailer load of ingredients in each chute, and I could mix it with the skid steer into the feed mixer, and then we wouldn't have to worry about handling it by hand or anything, and then I wouldn't have to deal with this crap. But this is the other side over here. This is another big, large holding pen on this side. It's mainly for this pasture over here, so if you want to get them in here, a lot of times we'll drive them, like we got these calves over here. There's a few sick ones we got quarantined off from the rest of them that we just bought, so that way they don't get the rest of them sick, because there's nothing in that pasture right now because we're letting that wheat grow. We're about to put a bunch of cattle on it. That little thing over there didn't used to be there. We originally built that to be a calf feeding area. It had a had a brain fart. Had one of those things where only calves could get through it, and then later on my grandpa wanted chickens, so we turned it into a chicken coop. But we don't make feed anymore. We quit doing that. We need to. If he's going, he keeps trying to get back into growing some calves off and putting a gain on them, and I would love to actually get a setup to where we can make feed again if we're going to do this crap, because this bread's getting old. These troughs, I put these lids on these troughs, or big feed troughs. I got steel pipes on the backside, are where I made videos back last winter where I fill these full of feed out of those sacks to where it's easier for us to fill up the buckets and stuff when we was feeding a lot of feed last winter. But I made those covers several years ago. And this trough over here is the same thing. There's a lot of things I'd change about this barn because there's a lot of better stuff now than there used to be. I mean, but back in the 80s, like I said, when we built this thing, this was pretty well top of the line. But that's the cattle working chute, and then here we got two refrigerators. One's for drinks and one's for cattle medicine. We do have an old feed bin that we used to get corn put in, and we'd get some feed back in the day when I was younger put in that. We had two of them, and now we only have one. It doesn't work anymore. It needs tearing out and getting rid of. We hadn't used it in years. It's rusted out in the bottom. But the bread is what I'm talking about. Right now we go get dump truck loads of bread, and it is a nightmare. You fill up these tubs every day. We fill up probably 18 tubs of bread, and it takes approximately, if one man does it, it'll take him 2 hours, 2.5 hours to fill them all up. If you get all three of us out here, we can probably knock it out, I'd say, in 40 minutes. And get them all full. But it is not fun because you have to put probably 20 loaves, 20, 25, 30 of those in one tub, and you have to hand tear it open, and it's a lot of work. It's a lot of wasted time, and it's a pain in the rear end. But that's what we're doing right now. I want to find a different solution because there's just so much labor tied up in it. I just don't see the benefit. We get it for nearly nothing, but we waste so much time, and it's getting cold. And when it gets cold, that stuff is no fun, because when it's 20 something degrees out here and we're sitting here around a truck trying to tear open bread and fill up troughs for 2 hours at a time, it's miserable. So I'm gonna load up my bread, and then we're gonna feed some calves. Gator was angry. It spit and sputtered. I should have had camera on. Didn't want to run. It's cold this morning. I'll be back. Here in a little bit, I'm gonna go bale some hay. More likely, y'all see this video after the hay baling video, but the last hay of the year. But I'm hoping. but we'll see. I don't know what kind of order I'm gonna do. But before I put the feed out, I'm gonna show y'all our squeeze chute. It is I believe this is a prefer, but we painted it red back yonder because it needed repainting, because we like red. And there it is. It's portable, balled, pulled. It looks tough, but it works good. It's not in too bad a shape. It's basically like new. It hadn't never been used too much. The man we bought it from left it outside and it got rusted bad, and he never really used it. But it's got all the panels drop on each side. The bottom, the top drops. It's got a drop or pull back thing for the rear end so they can't back up. The only thing I don't like about this one is if they hit it hard, or cow does backing up, they knock it open, versus the drop style. This gate swings open. And then this head gate, it is a manual head gate. I ain't crazy about the automatics. But this is your squeeze pedal and your release handle, and then your to open that gate over there, you hit this pedal. But to drop it, you just pull these pins and you fold it up, and the wheels pull right off, and it's on the ground ready to go. On the back side, we welded panel hookups on it, so that way we can just drop a pin in it and go. I really like this head gate. If I was buying a new one, just because of the money, I'd probably buy a Tartar. They got some pretty good ones, but I just could not go buy a new Crayford or something like that, because it's just outrageous. Let's feed some calves. Here's the thing that used to be in that chicken coop. That. And I rigged it up out here when we robbed the panels off of it. I made a little one out here for back in the spring when we had some little calves down here. And it worked good, but I mean, we just didn't need it, so we started robbing panels off of it. Need to take all that down, stack it back up. Just as a temporary thing it did, but I like these troughs, these steel ones. It's galvanized over those plastic troughs, because those plastic ones, these darn calves will get up in it and stand in it, and they'll bust the liners all to pieces. These steel ones cost a little more, but they last a lot longer. How many is there? There ain't many of y'all, so y'all gonna get it all in one. This is the latest calves, besides the ones in the back lot that we've got. We just sold off a large amount, and they came in looking like that there, and I'll show you what they look like when they left. We do use liquid syrup sometimes as well, just depending on the year. When they left, they looked like that big old heifer right there. Or that big black baldy. They're a little bit bigger than them. But when they come here, they look like them old little ruts. They look terrible. So we straighten them out, put some weight on them, and they come out looking like that big old bull yearling or something when we get done with them. We do pretty good on them. But if we're going to keep doing it, and he keeps getting more and more wanting to do this way instead of just having brood cows, which we've done this in the past several times. I'd like to have some way to make feed instead of fooling this old bread, but I guess you want one hand crap and the other and see which one fills up faster, especially when you're farming. There's one of them old troughs that the liners come out of. Need another liner to stick in it. Get away! That's my boy's twin calves. There's their mama. We kept her. That's her second calves. Out of her is them two twins that she had. Both of them little black. I don't know if they're both heifers or bulls, or one's a bull, one's a heifer. I can't remember. Get! Ain't it pretty? Alright, both heifers. Or no, both bulls. Both bulls. Had two little bulls. I thought it was the same. I couldn't remember. That calves probably about a week and a half old. So yeah, we just got all these in. I think it's about 15 of them. Little runts and everything. Sold too soon. A lot of them are. They won't give nothing for them. Like these calves, they're way too young to be sold. They should have stayed on their mamas. But when we get them, finish them out, send them to sale. Dad's riding my boy on his UTV up there. I see him riding out in the pasture. He has a fit every morning. He's got to ride pop on that UTV. He ain't but a year, nearly 2. He'll be 2 in January. They got him running. Oh God, they never let me get away with half the crap they let him get away with. But well, these calves, this is it. That's all we fool with the calf part. Mostly what we've got is mama cows raising calves that we sell for beef cattle. That's all we mostly fool with is brood cows. And every now and then we'll fill this place full of calves and try to fool around with a few of them, but that's about it. We ain't got a whole lot of calves. Mostly what we got is mama cows. And they're not here, they're out from here on all our lease property that we've got. Now we gotta go feed these buzzards in the back. The smart way to do this is turn the cattle in the barn and fill these feed troughs up with a feed mixer, but that's just too easy for around here. We can't do stuff like that. I'm sure there's somebody wondering why I'm not just doing that. We've always got to do everything the hard way. Call me lazy or just smart, I don't know. I think it's a mix of both. Of course, I don't know, there's a good bit of dumbness in there too. But that's it for today. That's the barn tour and explanation of what we actually use to work our cattle and stuff. We want a sweep system put in there in that chute area, and a squeeze chute permanently in there, or maybe a way to fix that one we got to where we can drop it in there all the time, and then when we need it we can just put the wheels on it. But as of right now, we ain't done it. We'd have to take this wing and go out further and make it wider in here in order to do that. And the barn's just not laid out properly, but it can be changed and fixed. We may do it yet, I don't know, but we'll see. Thanks for watching. Please comment, rate, subscribe. Hope y'all enjoyed this video. Thanks for going to feed the cattle with me this morning.